everyone, I'm JD from Willow Journals. Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I have a personal faith journal to share with you guys. It's just made using a spiral bound notebook or a visual diary, A5 size, and I might decorate the cover later on. If I find a nice picture, I'll cover up this front and back, but so far I have just been having fun decorating the inside pages. I've kept this blank too because I will do a title page later on. And basically how I'm using this journal is to record my journey with God through the years. So right from when I was a child up to present. It was roughly done chronologically, but sometimes I forget what order things go in, or I'm just too keen to write about this memory before I get to another memory. And it's just tracking the big moments where I got an insight, or where I felt God speak to me, or where I learned something, or that changed my life in some way, whether it's through a direct word from God, or reading the Bible, or a conversation with a friend, or a life event. So it's just covering all different facets of my life where I saw God at work, and all of these stories are stories of Him having an impact in my life, like a big impact in my life. So right here at the start, I'm talking about how I first started to believe in God, and what I knew about Him back when I was a kid, and why I believed in Him, and all that kind of thing. And it all has to do with creation. Oh, my cat just wants to be let out. I like that he cries when he wants something. It's like, good boy, Keanu. You make sure you meow so you can let me know what you want. Same kind of with us and God. Sometimes I feel like we think we're a nuisance to God, a burden to God, and He's impatient with us and that kind of thing. But just like with my cat, I want him to tell me when he wants something. I want him to tell me when he wants food, when he wants to come inside, when he wants to be let out of my room. If he's locked inside a cupboard, I want him to meow really loudly so I can come and rescue him and free him. And it's the same with God. He wants us to shout really loudly, or cry really loudly, or just talk to Him and share our needs with Him, and share how we're feeling and thinking with Him. So I used to come from a background thinking that I needed to keep everything quiet, and don't bother people with what's going on inside of you. Don't bother people if you're in need. Just figure it out yourself, And then slowly throughout my journey, I could write about this, maybe in this journal one day. I just learned through my cat, really, that I want my cat to meow loudly when he wants something, so I can hear him, and so I can come straight away and provide for his needs. And so same with God. He doesn't mind. In fact, I think He likes it and wants us to cry out when we need His help. There's an extra bonus little message there. Creation was the very first thing that connected me with God. I see Him first and foremost as creator. And then here, this is where the story of how I became a Christian. I was 14 years old, and the first time God spoke to me through like a sentence. I didn't hear an audible voice, but I heard this sentence come into my head, and it wasn't a sentence that felt like came from me, because it was beyond my wisdom. Like, I would never have come up with this myself. I didn't understand, and I tried to figure it out myself, and I wasn't coming up with any answers. And then I heard this sentence come to my head, and I was like, really? Wow, I need to think about that. And it just changed everything. That sentence, one word from God can change everything, is a statement that my pastor says, and I totally agree. And then not long after I became a Christian, I heard another sentence from God, and again it was like a 180, where I was going one direction and my thoughts were going this way, and then one word from Him, and all of a sudden completely changed the direction of my life and completely changed the way I thought. And again, like, I was trying to wrestle it, figure it out myself, and try to get this peace about a situation, and nothing I was doing was working. And finally this sentence popped into my head, and I was like, oh, that doesn't feel like it came from me, because I would never have come up with a sentence like that. I would never have come up with an idea like that. But once I heard it, I felt God, change me, and it changed me in an instant. Like, wow. And I'll go through these page by page in separate videos, I think, is what I'll do, and share these in depth, these stories, because what this book or journal became like was each page is a chapter in a book that I would like to do eventually. I've always wanted to do a sort of Christian memoir, or just a book about my faith journey, and each chapter would have a story about God moving in my life. So I realized I didn't intentionally do that, but as I was filling this journal up, I was like, oh wow, this is kind of like a draft of a book. So anyway, this was a time when scripture really helped me through a situation. Another time, different scriptures helped me. There was a time, only one time in my life, in 2007, when I was considering walking away from God. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in him. It wasn't because I didn't love him. It was because I thought I was doing such a terrible job at being a Christian, and I thought it would be better for God, me, and the world if I just stopped calling myself a Christian. And he just reminded me through these scriptures that he doesn't expect perfection, and that he's really, really, really patient. I'm the one who's impatient and wants to see change overnight, but he's okay with a lifetime of growing and learning. And I just had to take on his patience. And a key line that helped me is, you don't have to be perfect to be loved. I thought I had to be perfect to be loved, and since I was totally imperfect, I thought, well, that's it, I should just leave the faith because I'm imperfect and it makes me unlovable and all this stuff. And then when I realized this, it's like, stumbling steps, all good. I felt like I was walking one step forward, 3 steps back, and it was just, I was in my own world of pain and torture, and I realized I was the one doing that to myself. God wasn't doing that to me at all. He's just like cheering me on and saying, get up again, you got this, keep going. I don't care how many times you fail, how many times you make mistakes. I don't care how slow your journey is. I am with you, and I'm helping you, and I'm so patient, and I'm not angry at you. And it's like, okay, I don't have to be impatient with myself and angry at myself and judging myself. This is a story about, just God's love and worthiness and beauty. And I got that insight while I was staring at the horizon at a beach in McRae, a place I did beach mission at for 12 years, a life-changing place. I actually have written a book about my 12 years of beach mission. I haven't published it yet, but I wrote about how God changed me through those 12 years. So very significant place for me. My favorite scripture is Philippians 2:5-11. So of course I had to write about that and why I love it and why it gives me peace and comfort. This one, I got an insight from a book by C.S. Lewis called Mere Christianity. And I just felt like I was the horse with stumps that he wrote about. And to embrace my stumps, meaning we want the wings now, we want to soar, we want to fly, but in this life we have to deal with the stumpy wings and feeling awkward and ugly and stumbling. And so that was just about me embracing the stumps and learning to love the stumps. Again, patience. This one came to me in a song. This is how a song spoke to me. This one is how an event spoke to me. This is a really cool story. And I'll call it in the chapter of a book, The Gift, because a little boy gave me a gift, a complete stranger, and it really spoke to me. God spoke to me through that little boy. Another beach mission story, I think I've shared this like a few times on my channel, about the peacock and how that peacock symbol was speaking to one of the teens in one of my groups that I was leading at beach mission, and we just had this moment of connection where we were in awe of God. And it was the peacock that did it. I haven't done my journaling for this page yet, but I did a couple of drawings, and I'll write in the background here and here. These were 2 words that people got for me. So sometimes people might pray and have gotten a word for me, or other times they just got a picture for me or something like that. And here I've got to fill this one in as well. This is another word someone gave me. He gave me a scripture. And then over here, the story of the miracle. This story I actually submitted to a faith writing competition, and I believe it won second prize. It won a prize. I was trying to remember what prize it was. I believe it was second prize, and that was pretty cool. So that is already a chapter ready to go in my book. This one, just another psalm speaking to me, and a time in my life when I was looking up at the stars, stargazing, and I felt God speak to me through the stars. This one, a card spoke to me, just a completely random card that I found in an op shop, and when I opened it, just, yeah, I'll write about the story over here, or maybe here, and I just felt God speaking to me through this card. Like, so it's so random. People ask, how does God speak to you? And I just say through everything, through random cards that you find at an op shop, through songs, through movies, through books, through conversations with people, through a random moment thinking quietly, through anything and everything. This one, I have prepared the page again, and some of these I've got ideas of what I want to put there, but haven't got anything to decorate those pages yet. This is me trying to do it in chronological order. And then here again, other pages to fill in. These ones I printed out because I didn't want to write out. There was just so much to record. So Faylene Sparks, she does prophetic ministry, and she's come to our church a few times now, or well, a lot longer than that, but a lot more times than that, because she's been going to our church since before I even went to the church I go to now. So but she's given me a few words over the years, and each time it's just like, whoa, so much in it. And one of the words she gave me was, I see you like a mother duck would have ducklings following them, and that God says that the path you're marking out to the path of the just is a shining light that shines brighter and brighter than perfect day. I love that. Oh my gosh. And God says that people are going to follow your example, and that light, I love that, because I'm all about that light and trying to be a light. And we don't even need to really try, because if we just are ourselves doing what we do, what we're made to do, we're going to naturally bring light and show God and glorify him. So, and it's going to help people. So I got this mother duckling picture, and there's this whole story behind that as well. I need to find a picture of a door to go here, to go with some of these other words. I've got to write the story here, and I got a word another time, and that led to me starting a prayer journal, which was just the biggest thing ever. I had a spiritual retreat recently, where I just spent 2 days reading the Bible and talking to God, and he gave me this word here: your words are a lamp shining in a dark place. And that's what I hope every video on my channel and everything that I write and every book that I publish will be this: a lamp shining in a dark place, because there are lots of dark places out there, and we need more lights to help to help people through those dark places. Here's another scripture that he was speaking to me about, so I've got to write about that. And then a friend gave me a word about blue butterfly, so I've got to write that story too. And that's where I'm up to. I've got to fill in some more pages, of course, and have to start a new faith journal once this is all filled up. But at least I've made a start. I've always wanted to do this, have one place where all of my faith stories are recorded. So I've started, at least. I've started, and then I can keep on going, and then because you can forget stories, right? You can forget what you learn, so it's good to have it all here and be like, oh yeah, remember when I learned that, or remember when that thing happened. And it's always encouraging and uplifting when God moves in your life, right? So I want to keep recording my stories and eventually somehow turn this into a memoir book. So yeah, that is my faith journal. If you keep a faith journal, feel free to share in the comments how you do your faith journaling, and do you write about your stories, your faith stories? Because if you don't, I encourage you to do that. And if you want, do something like this, where you just gather all of your stories right from the very beginning, not just the current ones of where you are now and your journey now, but from the very beginning, and to see how God has been at work in your life throughout your life. All right, my cat wants to come back in. He's meowing at my door. I'm going to go get him. Hope you're doing well. Be sure to journal your life because your stories matter. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. A big thank you to my beautiful patrons who supported me in November. I hope you absolutely loved all of the extras this month. And if you would like to support me in December and get access to extra videos and printables, behind the scenes updates, and first access to any of my creations, the link is down below in the description box. The links are also down there to all of my journaling courses. The Reflections journaling course is running all through December if you would like to document your year for 2022. And if you would like to support my book fundraiser, the link is there to my GoFundMe page as well.